Good afternoon. I hope that everyone is doing fine on this wonderful evening. God is blessing you, God is keeping you, and that you're ready for a brand new day. Give it a minute before I begin. Hello, and welcome to the Total Man Initiative. I'm your host, Minister TK of the Total Man Initiative. And we're here from the Agape Worship Center. I'm sure Pastor Sam will be in pretty soon. Nonetheless, our purpose is to encourage and equip those who have a spiritual weakness but lack the knowledge and confidence to declare their position on the role of faith in an emotional and psychological healing. Tonight's discussion focus on the good. Philippians 4 and 8. And it reads, "Finally, brethren, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just, and whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, and whatsoever things are of good report. If there be any virtue, and if there be any praise, think on these things." One thing that I want you to think about tonight as we talk about focus on the good is that when we're faced with challenges, and everybody, there's not one person that's, free from those challenges. Are you the kind of person who always look on the bright side? Or are you the kind of person who thinks negative about things that may be happening or going on? Do you usually see the glasses half full or half empty? Sometimes it's, pretty much impossible to focus on the good, but we're trying to find ways to make that possible no matter what situations you have going on. Oftentimes we think about in a world where there's so much violence, injustice, and despair, it seems to be everywhere. You're listening to the news, you're listening to social media, you're watching social media, listening to social media. This is everywhere. And it becomes easier to expect the bad outcomes than it does the good outcomes. And it takes a tremendous amount of effort for us to remain positive in the midst of so much negativity that we're surrounded by. And I was reminded of, growing up, how many times the phone would ring after 10, 11 o'clock at night. When the phone would ring after 10, 11 o'clock at night, that automatically meant that something bad was happening. So the first thing you would hear was, "Oh man, what's wrong now? What's going on now?" At that moment of, that phone ring at the time of night. But is it possible for us to be able to get in our mind that that phone call at that time of night may not necessarily be a bad thing? We have to learn to focus on the good. And I was shared a article, and I'm sorry, it must have slipped out. I was shared an article about focusing on the good. But since it's not there, I'm going to have to come back to it. Nonetheless, focus. Follow one course until successful. Is it hard for us to do? Oftentimes, I can see that it's hard for a lot of us to do is to stay focused on a task. I know sometimes for me, that can be very difficult because at times when I'm doing something, I'm here, I'm there, I'm there. Then I get back around to, the task at hand. Good evening, Jennifer. Good evening, Fat. Hey, Fat man, I'm glad to see you. I'm glad to know that you're doing well. And this lesson can go for you as well. Focus on the good. No matter what may have happened, no matter what may be going on, focus on the good. What can we get out of this lesson? Is it something that we need to learn? Is it something that we just need to grow from? But I truly think that this is something that we can learn and grow from no matter what. But again, I'm glad to see that you're still here with us and you are tuning in and chiming in. Philippians 4 and 8. This scripture, again, it says, finally, brethren, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are of good report. If there be any virtue, and if there be any praise, think on these things. And I tell you, the importance of this scripture, once you get into it and we get an understanding of where we're going, how we're going, and just focusing on the good of where we are in our life. Because this scripture tells us that whatsoever things are true. And that's one of the things that we have to really understand, each day to wake up with a plan. If you wake up with a plan each day and you don't approach it on the negative side, then 9 times out of 10, your day can go a little better. Come up with a plan and have a good way of following through with it. Good evening to everybody that has joined us. Pastor Sam, Lady Lisa, we're glad to have you here with us and joining in with us on this lesson for tonight. Focus on the good. No matter what we go through, no matter what we have going on, we do our best to focus on the good. It's hard.
It's hard, but you know what it's all about? It's all about mindset. And it's about not only just our mindset, who are you hanging around?
Right.
What are you feeding yourself?
Right.
What positive things, what kind of personal development are you making or are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
Because if you don't have your mind right, it's hard to think on good things.
Right.
It's hard to think on positive. It's hard to think on whatsoever things are lovely and true. Because it's so much easier to believe the negative.
Right.
Because that's for the most part what's been poured into us.
Absolutely.
That's what we have digested and taken on as part of our identity.
Absolutely.
Well, you know what? I probably ain't gonna ever have this. My mom and them didn't do this. Is what my mama did. My daddy was the same way.
Right.
But let's just look from those examples, how did it work out for them?
Mm-hmm. Right.
So if you know the example, you know the road that they've traveled, how easy would it be? I may not get it all the way right.
Right.
But at least I won't go down that road. Because I saw where that would lead to.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And what you see before you, it says you can change your attitude. You can change your attitude that you may have today. You can change your mindset and you can change your energy. The importance of changing your attitude, it can be as much as that you're not having a good day. And you walk in the door at home and someone approaches you with a question, the first thing you want to do is snap off. But if you sit back and you say, you know what, it's not their fault. It's not their fault that I had a bad day. So let me bring it back in so that we can, have a good evening tonight instead of everybody being on edge with bad attitudes.
So I want to just say that one of the things that I've learned for myself is like your workplace
Mm-hmm.
can cause some negative vibes to come to you.
Right.
Some people do road rage.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you just got personal things that you're dealing with. But in the car on your way home, no matter how long or short your drive is, pour something into you. That's when you may not want to be mindful of the music that you listen to. If you're trying to get out of that funk before you get home, and or just to get in a completely different mind space, you want to start listening to and meditating on positive things, and you can play that anything on the radio. Find something positive to feed into you, so that when you go inside, you can be the change agent. So it doesn't matter, because it may be something at home that's going to upset you even more. But if you've already got your mind right, it's all starts with the mind, y'all. If you've already shifted and the change has already taken place, you can handle and deal with that even better. Unless, other than if you would have stayed in that funk.
Sometimes I find myself, I listen to some and listen to me some soft jazz or like some piano music that is just instrumental,
soothing,
something soothing. Because sometimes if you listen to words, you can get caught up in words. So if you listen to instrumentals, then it allows you to free yourself and be able to talk or listen while you're driving. For me, it soothes me, eases my mind, allows me to just really open myself up and think. Now, mind you, I can listen to some gospel music and get into that as well. But then there are those times when I just want to hear. So I want something in the background, but I still want to be able to hear and think.
Now, this pretty much is my routine, and don't judge me. But if you do, that's on you. I don't even care. In the morning time, I'm going to listen to gospel. That's every morning. In the evening time, I'm going to listen to smooth R&B. That's pretty much so my evening, because I don't want anything that's going to make me feel heavy, that's going to make me feel I'm trying to get out of I'm really trying to detox in the evening time of all of the many things that I have experienced throughout the day. Oh my God. I'm trying to clear my head of that and get a whole new mind space. So that music does it for me. And if I just want to hear something else, which I rarely do want to hear something else, because I'm just finding that works for me. But you got to find what works for you.
Absolutely.
Because everything is not for everybody. But find you something. Or you know what? Today I was in a funk. Tomorrow I'll be in a rut. And then it just lingers on from one day to another. And then you will find yourself, it's Friday. Now you will say, I have had a terrible week. But the thing about it is you allowed yourself to be in that stuck place. And sometimes it's not that easy to get out of that space once you get there and you start residing. And that's when, you know what? I already know next week probably ain't going to be no better. You already putting it out there that next week is just going to be just as bad. You have the opportunity to change the narrative.
Absolutely. And you're actually cursing yourself. I think affirmations are powerful tools. And I think cognitively we have to always have something that's in front of us that we can see, we can chant. I'm not talking about no witchcraft. I'm not talking. We're not talking about nothing like that. I ain't talking about no Musa, that Martin was doing on Bad Boys. I'm not talking about all, but what I am talking about is speaking things into existence, speaking life over your life. And that's something that we have to learn how to do, because I'm finding out more and more that we're around on a daily basis, probably about 80 or 90% of our day is spent around negativity. Whether it's something we're watching, something we're hearing, something we are seeing. It can be right in front of us, it can be around us, but there's so much negativity. In my job, somebody come in upset. Okay, that's negativity. you know, then that person is fussing at another person and they going back and forth, and you're trying to find your place of peace.
Right.
Like in the midst of all the chaos, you're
you're
trying to figure out how do I block all of this out, because I'm not trying to be in that head space today. But you find yourself, regardless of how hard you try not to, is there. Right. But the Bible said, when I went to do good, evil was ever more present.
It was already there waiting on you.
We have to learn how to, then it said, he will keep you in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on him, stayed on thee. So we have to learn that our safe place, our place of peace is in God. Right. So you have to find yourself, think of whatsoever is pure. Think whatsoever is a good report. Right. All of those.
You mean to tell me over the course of the day, you have not seen, heard, or witnessed one thing good that you can just think on, that you can hold on to? Man. And it could be that very small thing. I woke up this
morning clothed in my right mind. With
but don't wake up. Don't wake up already with negativity. Right. Oh, my.
You went to bed with
negativity. Oh, my leg hurt. Oh, my neck, my back, my everything is hurting.
And you know what we do?
And you've already glorified the negativity for the day.
Because we have the power of the tongue, and life and death is the power that was granted to us. Right. Because we have that power, we truly speak things. If you keep on saying, oh, I feel bad,
you probably gonna feel bad.
I'm big on this. This is something that, but I've been like this since I was a child.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't feel good. And lo and behold, I don't feel good. But I've been in that mindset for so long that it's hard for me to change. Right. Because when I was young, I literally was born with arthritis. Mm-hmm. So I've experienced pain from as long as I can remember. And now, pain is just something that's constant in my life.
Right.
But I'm having to learn how to live outside of the pain.
Right.
And living outside of the pain and saying, okay, I understand that this is going to happen, but there's so many other things that's greater than this pain. Right. So I need to think on the greater instead of focusing on the pain. Absolutely. She said lesser, but she ain't hurt.
I don't know anybody. There's very few people that I know I'm going to go with 40 and over, that don't wake up with something.
Some itis.
Something aching, something just throbbing, something that's happened today that didn't happen, wasn't there yesterday.
Speak on these things. Speak on these things.
Somebody I know gonna magnify them first thing when they wake up in the morning. Absolutely. Somebody I know. That's all I'm saying.
The word tells us to practice, and not the word, but what we get out of that scripture is, the first part, practice things connected to the truth. And sometimes you have to know the difference between nice and real. People can be nice, but they're not real. Mm-hmm. Things can be nice, but it's not real.
Right.
It's just a part of that reality of things that are going to happen. People are going to say things just to make it appease you, but it's not real. Mm-hmm. And that's what a lot of us suffer from, knowing truth and realness, and it's killing us today, because there are people that are trying to be real, but there's no real truth in what they're doing. They're nice, but they're not real. And somebody, well, what's the difference? There can be a difference, because some people can be nice because in their nature says, I'm supposed to be nice. And in being real about it, well, maybe they're doing it just to, say, well, you know what? I think your hair is beautiful today. But as soon as they walk off, now she know her hair wasn't beautiful.
They was being nice.
Yeah, they was being nice. Were they being real?
No, they wasn't being truthful. I think that's the difference. Real is being living in the truth. not being in the truth, just living in the truth.
Right.
You know, that's a place that you have to kind of stay in, because you know, there's a term, you can be nice nasty.
Yeah.
So you can be nice, but you know, you ain't right in your heart.
Yeah.
You know, so that's
when you should say
important.
less.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You really
And,
should.
and then nice nasty mean can also be that, you know, speaking what's real from a place of peace. Because if you're not at peace when you say something to somebody, then you could be nice nasty, and they can tell the difference when you know, it's again, she just said that because
that's right,
somebody else said it.
And it's energy.
Yeah.
You know, energy is conveyed from one form of matter to the next.
Mm-hmm.
And because it does not have to necessarily be the words that's coming out of your mouth.
No.
Your body language can say way more than what your lips could ever
Ain't
pour.
that the truth?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, ain't that the truth?
Language, your body language.
I mean, ain't that the truth? But it does. You can be saying one thing and your whole body's saying,
Absolutely.
You know what? I'm just straight up. I don't mean none of this that's coming out of my mouth.
I'm just saying it.
I'm just saying it. I am
just running my mouth.
I'm just saying it.
And your truth may change as you open your mind. As your mind opens and your heart opens, meaning, you know, when you grow, you know, you mature, your truth may change because you don't see the same things that you did 5-10 years ago.
I think that's part of wisdom.
Development.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I totally agree.
And you know, part of this practicing, you know, things that's connected to the truth. You know, understand that it may change. What you believe today may be different tomorrow, because you know what? Now I understand my job. Now I understand what God has for me. Now I understand why they acted the way they acted.
Because now I understand people a little bit better. Because I've experienced some things. Right. I've seen some things. And God has shown me some things even. So now I just understand things. That's maturity as well.
Absolutely. And you know, one thing about sometimes saying less is best, I am truly learning that right now. Because when I finally learn how to open myself up and speak about things, sometimes I find myself letting out too much. And so in that, I'm trying to learn how to gauge it based on the conversation and the need of what's needed and what that person needs to know and understand. Because sometimes you feel like you're telling the truth by letting it all out. You may be telling the truth, but then you could be giving out too much that can cause confusion and misunderstanding in people. So then they really won't know the truth, because now you're steady adding on to what you feel is the truth, but then they may not understand it.
But it's you know, that's so true, but it's hard. And the reason that it's hard, and we all know the reason that it's hard, because, you know, like the movie said, you can't handle the truth.
Right.
The truth is that, definitely tired. Options are few. But we've been taught not to deal with the truth. And it comes from when we're a child, you know, our parents, I'm not, you know, I can't really tell them what's going on.
Right.
You know, we're going to just keep this away from them. And you shield things thinking you're doing it. You're doing it out of love and think that you're protecting them. But in the grand scheme is that ultimately it hurts them in the end. And you caught up, and they saying, why didn't you just tell me the truth?
Right.
Well, I was trying to protect you. But now 20 years later, they hate your guts because you was trying to protect them.
Right.
When the truth would have been a whole lot easier. And that's the reason that, you know, the Bible say they that worship him must worship him in spirit. That's your mind. And in truth.
Right.
Truth is a place that the enemy can't go, because the devil, he's the father of all lies. So when you get into truth, you really get to a place where you can hear and you can speak and talk and converse with God.
Right.
And that's the reason that we're taught. The world is teaching us, don't tell it all. Don't. It would be so much easier and so much better if I'm ugly, a person just told me I'm ugly.
Yeah. Word games, what
because
it equates to.
And that's your opinion.
Right.
I can deal with your opinion, but that's not my truth. So, but I know what you're saying.
Right.
I know exactly what you're saying. But when you say one thing and then behind my back you're saying something different, I don't really know how to take you, because I don't know if you've ever really told me the truth. Right. So we deal with it, and sometimes if you're not gonna tell the truth, don't say nothing. Yeah. That's when I think that saying less is best.
It's best, right?
You know, just I mean, if you're not gonna tell me the truth, just don't say nothing.
Can't you find something good in everybody?
There
so
is
you don't have
good.
You don't have to speak on that thing maybe that they want you to speak on. Speak on something. Speak on something else.
Right.
So you can avoid certain things if you want to.
Or ask them, do you really want the truth?
No, because people don't. They're gonna say yeah. They're gonna say
and I'm gonna give it to
you. No, not you. They gonna say yeah, but that truth is really not what they want.
Now my question is, do you think Leo have pure thoughts in his mind right now?
He look like he's chilling, really. Relaxing. Looking for his next meal, waiting on his next prey.
I don't know, Leo looking all kind of ways for me. Yeah, I can see Leo look like he just lazy, just sitting there waiting for somebody to bring him some food.
Right. Now, if you know, just based off of this, if you understand, lions and what they do and how they protect, he's probably in an overwatch position.
Yeah,
watching to see if some other lion or some other animal is trying to come up and get into his pride. So he's watching.
Yeah, the hair.
He's chilling. He may have eaten. When the kids are playing, the ladies are running around trying to find food. But are his thoughts pure? That perception is what we fall into. The perception of, well, they not thinking good thoughts because the things they say is unruly, or they don't have my best interest at heart. But what I've learned is what we put into our mind determine what comes out into words or actions. What First Lady was saying earlier, feed your mind with something soothing, something educational, something that can benefit and help you to grow in whatever it is that you're dealing with, be it spiritual, be it work, be it family relationships, children, whatever it is that you're trying to grow into. Feed your mind something positive about that so that it can change the way you think, so that your actions will show different than what they used to. Because if you don't if you continue to bleed off into the things that you used to do, then your actions will remain the same.
Yeah, I agree.
So one other thing that we talk about when we talk about pureness, pure thoughts, is the power of thought. And everything that we talk about really deals with the mind, because the mind, as the commercials used to say, the mind is a terrible thing to waste. And how do you waste your mind? By not feeding it. Yeah.
Yes. Donate.
I think you waste it by feeding things that's not productive.
Right.
Anything, and that's like what that scripture was saying. It was saying, at the end of the scripture, it said, think on these things. Because if it's not of benefit, has no virtue in it, is not speaking life into your situation, or is not comforting you, it's not uplifting you, then why drown your mind with it? And we do it in the sake of entertainment. We watch videos of people beating each other up. We watch videos of police brutality. We watch videos of men degrading women. We watch videos of women degrading men. We watch videos of women degrading themselves.
Right.
And we do all of that in the name of entertainment. But what we don't understand is that we're poisoning our thoughts, and we desensitizing ourselves to the truth.
And how is that causing growth within you as a person?
It can't.
So whenever you're faced with something, then next thing you know, I'm gonna pull out my gun. I'm gonna punch you. Because that's what you've been fed all day.
She go talking about me again.
Absolutely. I'm gonna pull out my gun. I had to make sure it was still showing and playing. But you're right, absolutely. Feeding your mind with those things that are positive, clean. And, as Pastor Sam was saying, oftentimes we can feed into TikTok, we can feed into Facebook, we can feed into whatever the platforms are, YouTube, and you just constantly watching videos, and those videos are not giving you any type of substance to feed you into the positive. And I'll say I found myself doing it. Sometimes just sitting there at the desk at work, and somebody may send you something, and you on TikTok, and you TikTok this one, you TikTok that one.
But you know what though? What I have noticed though, when you get to a video that may actually help you and may actually pour something good into you,
could have skip over that.
You scroll through that one fast. That finger get to.
I'm not trying to be positive. I'm trying to entertain, and it kind of goes back to what I was saying. We do it in the name of entertainment,
right?
And a lot of times we'll say things to ourselves like, "This ain't really." I mean, But the truth, we say that it's not really affecting me. But I remember when we was little, and you're not as young as I am, but you probably don't know anything about Black Belt Theater. Black Belt Theater used to come on Saturday evenings, and that was karate. It's gonna be a new karate movie every Saturday. Black Belt. Well, after about 10, 12 Saturdays, you really believe that you Bruce Lee.
Yeah.
I thought I really thought I knew karate. I really, you couldn't tell me anything different because I watched so much Black Belt Theater that I was beginning to be able to mimic Mandarin or Cantonese. I thought I knew how to speak the language. Yeah. Went outside.
I speaking slow motion.
Got in the fight, and got my butt toe up. Did none of that karate work. I mean, I tried to kick and got punched.
But you know what? Something else I can bring home that's a little more modern than that. You watch all these home improvement shows. Everybody's a carpenter. Everybody can go straight to Lowe's and buy all this material, all this expensive material, and come back and build and fix and do so many.
I learned a lot of stuff.
They haven't considered the fact that some of these people, they went to school, they got some training, they got license and that kind of stuff.
All I know, so easy.
But all I know is I don't see why I can't buy these 2x4s and build me a whole whatever.
I'm gonna build my house. I'm gonna build me a house.
It looks so easy.
Straight from I'm gonna build from ground up. That joke will be leaning like this right here. Yeah.
And then you mad.
You can't.
You mad.
You cannot. But it's the gates. It's the eye gates, because what comes through that, and that's the reason you have to be so protective over your eye gates, because the things that you see, even in your car, in the rearview mirror, the rearview mirror says things may be closer than they appear. So the perception looks like it's far off. In reality, it's right there on side of you. Yeah. So what happens a lot of times is when we feed ourselves all of these negative things, we don't even understand that it's affecting us. But down on the inside, it really is. You find out, you watch a lot of negative stuff, and you can't pray. You be in need. You really need God to do something for you, and you can't even formulate the words to come out of your mouth. You forget how to pray because you got so much negative, that you got to work your way through all of that before you can get to that place where mentally,
now you're prepared.
It complicates your life so much, and that's the reason we have to be careful with the things that we allow to enter into our eye gates, our ear gates. We have to be careful with all of these things. Our mouth. Once again,
however you taking it in.
We just have to be careful. And I used to think old folks used to say some stuff, and man, you never did think about it. But they used to say, turn the TV off at night. Because if you leave that TV on,
it gets and soaks into your mind.
And you say them spirits. Them spirits gonna come, and the truth, man, you mess around and let a horror movie come on while you sleep. Man, you have so many crazy dreams.
You know what I was thinking about as you were talking about the different portals, different ways things will come into and feed into your spirit, just pour into you. I was thinking about how now we have so many different types of headsets.
Yeah.
So we can hear it directly. You can hear it as loud as you want, as much of it as you want, so it won't be interrupted. Right. So that's more being fed directly into us.
Right.
And you don't think that the enemy has perfected?
No, it.
He has perfected what from generation to generation he becomes more cunning than the generation before. And he is not new to this. He's been here from the beginning, and probably gonna be here, definitely gonna be here during the rapture.
Yeah.
You know, during Revelations.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. What about these lovely things?
We can't see the lovely thing. We can't see the trees and the forest. We can't appreciate none of this because we're thinking about how long the ride is.
Right.
We can't appreciate the journey. Lord, I've been waiting on this thing forever. When you gonna do it? But you haven't stopped to think about how he's preserved you and kept you and the things that he has brought to you while you've been waiting on this big thing. But then maybe, just maybe, he's just waiting to see, can I trust her with these small things, with these little small, minute details to make her story come together. And so when the big thing comes up, who will she give the glory to? Who will he give the glory to even?
Absolutely. You know, we like you said, we do miss the lovely and beautiful things about, you know, just the goodness of God because we're so clouded with what we want right now.
Yeah.
You know, we want it right now. I've been waiting on it.
That instant gratification.
And it's mine. And I know, well, you know what, it may be yours. But let me see how you are going to deal with it a little bit at a time. Well, if you can't deal with this little bit, I need to wait and see. I need to wait until.
Because it's a trust issue
right
there.
Trust issue right there. Absolutely. Absolutely. And, you know, it's just one thing that we have to learn to deal with when it comes. And, you know, as it says, think on whatever is lovely. You just guard your heart through right thinking. And, you know, our hearts can be something else. You know, we get a clouded heart, a cloudy heart, and it's broken, and we don't understand what we see, we don't understand what we hear, and then we think the wrong way. We think that it's not what it is and what's supposed to be and what the prescription that God has given us because we want something different. And as it says, that word love is patient and love is kind. You know,
how patient, how long, how kind do I have to be to this person?
Absolutely.
When I know that they've done me wrong, when I know that they are stabbing me in my back,
right,
and then talking about it. So some things I just know.
Absolutely.
So now I'm supposed to be kind to this person, so show some grace and some mercy towards this person. God get them.
If you consider or call yourself a Christian, then that's our Christian duty.
But you know what, people don't take my weakness for
my kindness for
weakness.
So was Jesus weak when he got on the cross?
He was strong.
He was strong.
He was strong and dedicated and committed.
We say a lot of things that we really don't mean, and then we justify it by trying to put self and not Jesus in the past. So we'll take Jesus out of the equation if it's not,
don't fit our narrative.
Yeah, if it's not really what, I'm not gonna be weak. Jesus wasn't weak. He was strong enough to bear the sins of the entire world on his shoulders.
Absolutely.
And that's what we've chosen to
Oh,
believe
but we
in.
say, we pray and say, Lord, help me to be more like you.
And that's the problem. Do we really mean what we say? And
Well,
see,
when
when it's in your heart,
Right.
then it should be close and dear to you. The heart is the most vital organ in the body.
because it can't shut you all the way
It
down.
can, it can, and it's responsible for being the nurturer of every cell in the body. Without the heart, the cells die.
Yeah.
So nothing that's movable or livable in your body can deal without the heart.
Absolutely.
And the heart is the one thing that we try to fool.
Yeah.
You know what? That's what I was just thinking about though. But let that mind shut off. Let that brain die. Your heart still be pumping.
It can
So
artificially.
I'm just saying, everything starts with the head.
Of course,
Mhm.
of course, but the head and the heart is the spirit and the soul.
Oh, so they work together.
So these two components, none of us are beings without.
Right.
When God breathed the breath of life into man, and man became a living soul. So you got to have both components. You got to have the mind and the heart.
Absolutely. Absolutely. A noble character. You know, that's one thing that we tend to slack off of, is being noble in some of the things that we do. And, you know,
what does that mean, to be noble?
Who-wee.
Hey, them the ones that own that cleaners.
Absolutely, they do. Shout out to Nobles Cleaners.
Nobles Cleaners. Great men. Great men.
And you know, we don't have honor and respect for a lot of things that we deal with and we do. And it takes away from, you know, being noble. You know, as we talked about a little minute ago, you know, the heart's like a fountain of emotions. That heart can have you all over the place.
All over the place.
I mean, just you can drown in emotions of sickness, sorrow, loneliness, depression, anxiety.
Yep.
You know, because your heart is just so full, overwhelmed of things. You know, sometimes, you know, if you don't fill your heart and your mind with honorable things, because if you don't know what honorable things are, then that means you're not filling your mind with honorable things. You're not trying to do the right things or honoring things or just do the right thing. And I think, you know, sometimes we miss the mark.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. But what are you honoring? So that could play a big part in
so let's go
outcome.
Let's go to the word. The word says
honor your mother and father.
Right. But it says no man can serve two masters unless he love one and hate the other. So if you're not honoring one master, then you got to be honoring the other.
That's right.
So honor and respect, but it has to be guided in the right direction.
Right.
Because we can honor and respect the wrong thing. The Bible says that you know, that we're not bound when we follow the spirit, the laws of the spirit, then we're no longer bound to the laws of sin and death.
But
so
you have to abide by the laws.
You have to abide by the laws of the land.
Right. Abide.
But the laws of sin and death, we're not conformed to anymore.
Right.
Once we follow Christ, so that means that we don't have to respect the things of the world. All we got to do is respect, you know, have honor and respect of God. And if we respecting God, because there's sometimes that our respect is not going to line up with their respect.
Absolutely. You're right about that.
There's sometimes we're going to have to go against.
Rome, do as the Romans do.
Get out of Rome.
But you know what? Then you go to Bad Town. Then you got to do. I mean, wherever you go, you got to abide by the laws of the land. Right. But you know what? But what my take on it is, if you honor and respect God first and foremost, then you're gonna honor and respect yourself. You're gonna do what's right.
Right.
And you're not trying to cause no trouble.
Right.
Because you want to go there, live in peace and harmony, follow peace with all men. So you doing what's right.
Absolutely.
But I think you can honor and respect
those who have authority over you.
You can, but I think you can do that without conforming. I don't think you have to conform because you
conforming to the laws of the land,
conforming to their ways.
Their ways.
Oh,
sometimes we have to stand up for what's right. So I don't want nobody to be confusing to think just because they passed the law that the same sex can get married don't mean me as a preacher I have to marry them.
Right.
Oh no.
So, but those are the lands of the law, the laws of the land. So we have to understand that honor and respect, it definitely have to be for God first. And if anything else, then I'm just gonna have to be like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. I'm gonna have to be thrown into the fire. I'm gonna have to be put into the fire because I'm not gonna conform. I'm not gonna conform my beliefs are my thoughts and beliefs just for the world.
Right.
I agree wholeheartedly with that. That's why I said you got to follow God first.
That's right.
And if the Lord is not leading you that direction, then I choose God each time.
Absolutely. It's important that we understand where our minds are, where they're going, and those things that we are needing. Sometimes we don't know, and sometimes we have to just try to find that path of what's missing in our life. And sometimes when you're missing something, you kind of find your way leaning towards because things will start you will have an interest in something that's like, what is this? And then you'll find that missing piece of the puzzle in your life to give you what you need. Because what we have to do is we have to make sure that we continue to feed our minds, or start feeding our mind things in the positive, good things. Feed them things that can help us grow, things that can help us help one another, not hurt one another, but to bring into a different light who we are, what we are, where we're trying to go, especially when it comes to honoring, respecting, and loving God. Because without Him, we can't be nothing. We ain't gonna be nothing.
Right.
So one thing that we want to make sure that there's a great understanding is to focus on the good. The world is full of negativity. Things are going to be negative around you often. And just because you see somebody smiling and happy all the time does not necessarily mean that they are good.
Right.
But they are trying to feel good based off situations they may be going through. So sometimes the laughter and smiles can bleed off onto you to help you to say, you know what, my situation is not as bad. I'm doing a bit better.
Earlier last week, I was just looking at a word, and even with the smiling their way through it, I was looking at the words bitter and better.
Right.
It's only one letter difference.
Yep.
So if I choose to say that I am better today, I'm really trying to overcome some bitterness, but I'm speaking more life into the better and not the bitter.
Yeah. Right. Absolutely.
And it's really that simple. Whatever you feed the most,
that's what's going to grow.
It's going to grow. So if you feed negativity, one thing, and to me, this is probably the greatest thing that my father could have done for me. And my father died when I was 14 or 15, somewhere. But my father had a saying that has stuck with me my entire life. He embedded in me, self-pride.
Right.
And his thing was, you're Alexander. So it was just my last name.
Right.
You're an Alexander. And at first I didn't really understand it. But he said it so much that it started drilling into my mind. Right. So whenever anything was hard in our life, my dad said, "You Alexander." I'm like, okay. Well, that's William over there too. So what does that mean? What he was saying is that if anybody has done it before you, then you can do it after them. So there's nothing that you can't do that somebody else has already done. Now, if it has never been done before, then maybe, just maybe, you may not be able to do it. But if it's ever been done before, then you can either match it or beat it. And he drilled that in me, and that stuck with me. So the reason I'm saying that is because we have to give our children a mantra or some type of positive
foundation.
Yes, a mental foundation that they can build on as they grow. And he died when I was 14, and I still live with that today. I'm 51 now, and my saying that I gave to my daughters, you Alexander. Every time they say, "Oh, Dad, I can't do that." You Alexander. What you mean you can't do it? You Alexander. Do it.
So some people have a bad attachment to the not so good or not so positive things attached to their last name. You be the change agent. If you want generations to come to have something positive to fall back on with Sandifer, you start being the positive Sandifer that they can look back on. You're my son. You're my daughter. And this is what they've seen. Because, I mean, history is destined to repeat itself unless we do something to change.
And if the DNA falls the same, then what can't they accomplish that you accomplish? You got the same DNA.
Same DNA, absolutely.
Made out of the same call. And we have to embed this in our children early. So when they come to the trials and tribulations of life,
no, we're not raising no weaker ducks, no sorry lazy ducks. They trying to get out there and get it.
That's right.
And they need all of these tools.
Oh, they need it.
Absolutely.
All these tools are gonna be needed. And like I said, that was all of the things that my father gave me. To me, that was the greatest, because that pulled me through some hard times. You know, just thinking back, like, once again, you know, I mean, your reality is I mean, really based upon how you feel, how you think, what you see,
your
perception becomes your reality. And then, you know, that's another big saying of mine: perception is reality. It's all based on how you see it. It doesn't matter how somebody else see it. What matters is how you see it. Doesn't matter the problems that they went through, how hard it was for them. What matters is how you see it. Just because it was hard for them don't mean it's going to be hard for you. It may be easy for you.
Absolutely.
You know, so we have to drill it. Have to drill it. I can't say it enough that it has to be drilled. And the earlier we drill it, the more positive it's going to be later on in life. Absolutely. It's hard to teach an old dog new tricks.
It can be taught, but it can be
taught. It's hard though.
So if
it's possible.
Well, this one I know we're getting ready to wrap up. What I just want to say is, if Poor, Broke, and Disgusted has been your family's legacy,
don't give it to me.
You have nowadays it's ways out. But don't sit there and say, you know what, my mom, and I am not saying there's anything wrong with welfare, but at some point it's got to stop. You got to want to create some generational wealth that's not based on what the government is giving you,
and not based upon what your predecessors.
That wasn't the foundation. That wasn't how it has to continue to be.
I thank God for their struggle, but their struggle is not my struggle.
That's right.
I'm a different individual, and these are different times.
That's right. You working, have something, put you something aside. Those are things you can think on.
Learn from their mistakes.
How am I gonna get this? My hustle is gonna be different than what my parents were. They did the best they could with what they had.
Thank God.
Right, and I appreciate that about them. But I want to do something different, right?
Absolutely. You know, one of the most important things, and this one didn't even add in there, so I'm not even going to show it. You know, we want you to know that the importance on focusing on the good. Focusing on the good will allow you to just be able to be the change agent, as First Lady was saying. Be the change agent for your generation. It may be hard, but it's worth it. Try to focus on the good. Find ways to think positive. Positive, as Pastor said earlier, affirmations. Find you some positive affirmations. Say daily. Take and put them on your wall. Put them in your bathrooms. When you go in the bathroom, you look up. Okay, here we go. Put it on your dashboard. Put it on your desk. Take it to work. Put it in your wallet. Put it in your phone.
Right.
Something. Let it be a screensaver.
Right.
Instead of your personal picture, make affirmation your screensaver. So when you look at your phone, you know what? I am this. I am that. I feel this way. I feel that way.
Because you know what? Sometimes when our picture is our screensaver, we go to critiquing it.
Yeah. I should have took this picture.
Look at how I look right here.
Oh, y'all didn't tell me.
When you the one asked them to take that picture anyway.
Absolutely. But guys, we thank you and we love you. Focus on the good. Pastor Sam, First Lady, y'all have anything you want to add?
Nothing. Just we appreciate you watching. Appreciate you joining. And anybody that would like to be a part of the conversation at any given time, inboxes. We'd love for you to come in and sit with us and have a discussion. One Wednesday night, join in on the conversation.
Absolutely.
We got some regulars, interview regulars that we see want to come join us anytime. Come join us.
Absolutely, love to have you, Lady Lisa.
I just want to say the topic has been phenomenal. We need some good positive things going. Good news travels really slow. Bad news will beat you somewhere. You can zoom in on that and find that anywhere. But if we don't put more good vibes out there, negativity is just what we're gonna get more often than not.
Absolutely.
You were waiting on an invite. You just got invited.
Absolutely. So when you see it, don't back down from it.
Right. Don't say you're busy.
Wednesday, next Wednesday, 6:30.
We thank you and we love you. And until next time.